What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Ham Radio Crash Course. Welcome to Saturday. We are going back to something I haven't talked about in a little while. Downlinking NOAA images for weather. So, hang tight. I'll show you how to do it in a very simple way. There are links in the video description if you are so inclined to get started early. Enjoy the memes, and we'll get started real soon. What is up, everybody? We now live in the future. That's right. It's only been take that back. It's only been 4 years since I did my video on downlinking NOAA images, and man, things have come a long way since then. We're going to be talking about an application called SatDump. Spoiler alert, if you're interested in doing this at all, you should go download this immediately and get started on getting something up and running, because I have a very simple setup, and I was able to make this work incredibly well. I'm incredibly surprised by how effective this was and how easy it was to get started. So something that used to be very difficult, very difficult. The applications we used to use to do NOAA image downlinking was a trifle, to say the least, because it was no longer in development. You had to backload the Kepler's in. It was a major, major mess. There are multiple contributors to SatDump, I believe, which we'll talk about here shortly. But yeah, that just totally highly recommended. So yeah, let's just get that right out of the way, because it's going to be fun, I promise you. Sadly, the next pass we get is a very low pass, and it's at the end of it's like in past the hour. So likely, if you're following along with us here, just know I'm going to talk for about an hour, show you how to get this all done, and then we're going to do an after chat. And in the after chat, that's when all the passes are going to happen, so we're going to see the downlinking live. But I do have a couple examples of images that I've copied down, so we'll take a look at those. But let me show you how to get things started here. First and foremost, if you'd like to help out the Ham Radio Crash Course, go check out hamtactical.com. There's a big old link right there to our coffee club over at hamtactical.coffee. We have a monthly coffee service, as well as you can just buy individual coffees if you like them, because we're going to have 12 different varietals here by the end of this 12-month period. So go check it out, hamtactical.com and hamtactical.coffee. All right. So basically what you're looking at here is what you need, right, to do downlinking of NOAA images or the Russian satellite Meteor images. That's a QHF antenna, and the far right upper corner is a turnstile antenna. These are circularly polarized antennas made for reception. There is the egg beater antenna, which is can be used for transmitting as well as receive in this case. We're most interested in receive. And specifically, we're going to be in about the 137 megahertz space for receiving. Along with that, they have amplifiers on the far right and bandpass filters, or specifically very tight filters that allow that 137 megahertz and only that to come through, because that's really what we're going to be focusing on, is 137 megahertz. Now, in my case, when I was at, I think it was Hamvention, I did pick up an EggNogs antenna. I bought this, and what this is an egg beater antenna. It's a kit, very simple kit. But the advantage of this one is you can polarize it however you'd like, and you can't see the options. I see that now. But you have option of doing the weather sats. It'll do ham 2 meters. It'll do commercial 388 megahertz. It'll do 401 megahertz or 436.5 for ham radio 70 centimeter. And you have an option between SMA and B and C if you want, or Type F. I didn't even realize you had Type F. But anyway. You don't have to go this route, but it does make it rather simple because you then just have to connect two wiry things together. And I'll show you how simple a setup I have. Here's my sad-looking antenna outside on, like, I think that's about probably 15, 16 feet, probably closer to 20 feet, actually. And then I have it piped into a Raspberry Pi. Now, that's all it is. It's a RTL SDR dongle, which I have linked in the video description. A NOAA SDR device is going to be just fine if you want to use that instead. One of the ones I've talked about in the past. I just had the RTL SDR out on the table, so I threw it onto my device and set it up in the backyard. Now, I'm running a fresh copy of Raspberry Pi. I just loaded Raspberry OS, and this is the only app that's running right now, and it's doing great. In fact, we're tracking NOAA 15. NOAA 15 is a little bit defunct on 137 megahertz right now, but I'm going to use it as an example, right? So that's kind of all there is to it, and you can go so far as to just homebrew an antenna if you want. If you want to homebrew, super easy. If you want to build yourself a turnstile antenna, it's good too. Thing to keep in mind is there is a right-hand, left-hand polarization that comes into play in some cases. My understanding, my memory that I think is accurate is that the NOAA satellites are both left and right-hand polarized. But if you're using Smitty's kit from Halibut, it's you can change it however you want. Now it is soldered into place, and then you're kind of just doing one or the other. Now, the goal here is to do this as simply as possible, right? So if you got a cheap wire antenna that you build, probably even out of coat hangers. You have to do some math on that to make that work, but it should work. It's very straightforward. So without further ado, I'm just going to go into this, and I'm going to show you both Windows and the Raspberry Pi. They basically function identically, but to have it outside to do the testing and the work that I did, I just used the Raspberry Pi and VNC'd into it. But for the purpose of initial setup, I'm going to show you with the SatDump application on Windows. So this is what it looks like when you start it up, and this is used in a couple of different ways. You could downlink the audio chain using any kind of software-defined radio receiving application, and you can pipe it into this and then telling it what type of satellite it came from and what type of data you're running through it. It will backload or process all the images, telemetry files, anything that you might be interested in doing, just right through the app in that case. But it'll also record live and process live, meaning it'll do it all in one shot, and it'll do it automatically for you, which makes Raspberry Pi a fantastic choice for this because Raspberry Pis are pretty stable. They will just run if you've got a good image. And you got probably some active cooling if it's going to get a little warm. In some cases, if you're not running a Raspberry Pi 5 like I am, it might get a little hot. If you're on a 4, definitely a 3, you probably want to consider some active cooling. But this is what you're going to be faced with when you see this on Windows. So the first thing I would do is come on over here to settings. Let me go back. I'm on the wrong application. There we go. Settings. Okay. So what you have to do here is you have to give this an accurate QTH location because it's going to derive where you're at, where the station is at that you're receiving from the lat long that you give it, and that's what tells it when to start, when to stop, doing all that stuff. So you absolutely have to have that if you want this to be accurate, as well as highly recommended you give an altitude as well because that's also going to play into how this all works. So let's see. Somebody said something in the chat. Everything good? Hopefully everything's good. Looks all good, so I'll sally forth. So make sure that you're adding a QTH of some kind, whatever it is, add it in here. Same for your longitude, lat long. Now, you can pretty much copy exactly what I'm doing because I'm not going to do anything fancy other than I'll show you when I made specific changes. Otherwise, there's not that much you need to do. I know I'm repeating myself, but I promise. Go to the Recorder tab. Now, in the Recorder tab, if you have an RTL SDR device or an SDR of some kind connected to your computer, if you click on the device drop down here, file source, you can select what it is you might have plugged in, and it'll show up the different items. This will work with SDR++. This will work with RSP duos, RTLs, you name it. Almost, I think even, what's that other one? Hack RFs, a number of SDRs on the market. Cheap ones will just work here. So you select that guy. This isn't going to work because I literally have it outside. But the good news is you don't even have to start the frequency. You don't have to set any of that right now. You can just leave that alone. This recorder function will work as both a live processor that will automatically run, or you can manually go in and change things. I'm going to be focusing on the automatic, though, and then we're going to come back for the other. So go down. Oh, one setting, very important. Go back to settings here. Make sure that you update the TLE files right here. These TLE files need to be updated, and if you click update, it should update. In my case, mine wasn't, but let's see. It might go. And it failed. Yeah, I don't know why, but works fine on the Raspberry Pi. Make sure you update those TLEs because that's what you're going to use to determine your path, your flight plan, or your estimations on the passes for the satellites. You can minimize FFT. You can minimize processing. You can leave that all closed. Go to tracking. Okay, tracking has the little pass circle, which would show you for upcoming satellites. But underneath that, there's a schedule and config button. If you click the schedule and config, we're probably going to have to switch over. Yeah, we're going to have to switch over to the Raspberry Pi. So let's do that now. Hey, this looks slightly different. So if you go to the schedule and config here on the left-hand side, which I will do this real fast. There we go. Wow, now I'm looking at the right thing. Click schedule and config. Now you're not going to see all these items on the bottom here, these satellites that I have in place. What you're going to see though at the top, it'll say scheduling, and then you'll have, come on there, buddy, you'll have a list of available satellites. And in our case, we want NOAA, so it's going to be NOAA. And you should see 15, 18, 19. Don't worry about 20 and 21. So just click on them and click the little arrow to the right to bring it over. And when you do, it will populate this list of satellites, right? So I have NOAA 15, 18, 19, and then I have Meteor M24 and M23. Again, you can copy the frequencies that I have set exactly here. And I'll embiggen this a little bit so that you can see this. And that is the wrong frequency. That should be 137 and 9. And then under each one of these where it says record, you're going to make sure you're going to have to select what you want. And this is ATP or NOAA ATP. So go in here and go NOAA. Oop, there you go. NOAA. NOAA ATP, I believe, is automatic picture or something along those lines. So go ahead and click that guy. Under config, I have turned on timestamp start timestamp auto. Again, you can just copy this from the video. This is literally all there is to it. I did that for all the NOAAs, but then for the Meteors, I did add the DC blocking check on that. So when that's done, make sure you check the live box for every one of these and go up and click them individually. You will have to do these individually or it won't work. And I have stop SDR when idle turned on. So you go ahead and click that guy on and off. And then hit engage auto track, which is this, excuse me, which is right next to, oh, before you engage, hit update passes. So now with our TLEs, see that guy there? See all those little dots? Those are the planned passes that you can expect for those satellites. So we have NOAA 15, 2 passes of that coming up, then a Meteor 2, 3, then a NOAA 19 and NOAA 18. So the after chat's going to be kind of fun, hopefully, because we're going to see a couple of passes. And I'll show you what I was able to capture with my Janko antenna. But on the far left now, NOAA 15 shows up. And if you see that little orange curved cutout of the green circle, that's the pass we're going to expect. In my case, that's too low of an altitude to pass to be very effective for me. So what I've done is to just offset that lowest altitude or elevation. I've added 8 here, and 8 is probably too low. I'm going to make it 10. No, come back here. 1, 0. There you go, bud. All right. So now if I hit the check for engage auto track, this goes gray on me. And now we can see this says yes in the corner. And when you are then when the pass comes overhead, it will turn the whole system over and it will show you basically the SDR running. Now, that's the auto setup. So if you follow that process, you will be able to automatically do all of this. But you can manually do it too. And so to manually do it, you go into, let's see, where is it? Oh, hold on. This guy. Let's bring up NOAA APB. And we're going to go primary frequency, or 18's fine. And we'll go to, it's set that to the real. By the way, now my my drop down is select, or is correct, so I will say start. And there's our SDR running in the background. And if we go down, so if we see actual activity, so let's say we're manually doing it, and we see activity on the waterfall on 137.91, then you can go in here and hit processing and start, and it will transition over to a decode signal phase. So that's the noise you're seeing on the lower left-hand corner. You will see that start to actually ball up into 4 little green bouncing balls, and that's kind of your notifier that you're actually receiving a signal, and you may even start to see decoded information here on that decoding window. So that's how you do it manually, but I highly recommend you do the automatic because it's just dead simple. Oh yeah, congratulations. Look, it says I did something there, but I didn't. So let me check into the chat, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up a video and some of the images that I've got here. So hang tight as I do some of this stuff. Let me see if, by the way, this is probably going to be done early because we didn't have a whole lot of passes, so we'll just be taking questions here at the end. Yes, the app does indeed account for Doppler shift. Yes, you should worry about Doppler shift in this case. Yeah, so good question. If this is SHTF, will these sats still work? So hypothetically, unless it's like a EMP or something in the low Earth atmosphere, then yeah, probably. Yeah, if the satellites get knocked out, then yeah, sure. No way, regular dew? No, man, this is the dew of of kings. Yeah, you like that with the green screen? It's Baja Blast. This is what we drink in the future, where satellite downlinking is easy. How hard the SHTF? That is a good extension to a metaphor. Yeah. Okay. So let me grab some images here. Now, a thing you can do, which I will go back to this guy to show you. If you go to your settings, you can set your output directories, and I highly recommend you do that. Set it to something where you want all this stuff to go, because it's going to create images, potentially audio files, all kinds of other things, and so you can just do that, place them where you want. I use the home directory that I have a raw download or live output, as it says there in Linux, but in Windows you can drop it wherever you want. So okay, back to the Pi. If I go to my file viewer, come back there, bud. Couple ways you can do this. Here's our file viewer. If I go to home, if you go home, nope, that's not it. This home, there we go. Live output. So these are just some of the passes I pulled today, just automatically letting it run in the background. The last good one I think was this NOAA, and then the most recent Meteor. So again, my Janko antenna, not perfect, but not bad. That was before I elevated the antenna. It's a bit higher up now. You can see some of those lines are from where signal dropped out for various reasons. But we did actually get a capture. You can see clouds. That is the west coast off of California. With our absolute no weather patterns coming in. So you get the idea on that. And let me go back up here to... When did this happen? I think that was yeah, that's nothing. Oh, that was just the demo we did. Ignore that. So I believe this is the, well, somebody tell me what you think this is, this what we pulled in. Meteor is actually some really good images that it pulls. There we go. Is that right, or am I upside down? That's got to be. What am I looking at, guys? What do you think this is? Am I rotating it the correct way? Shout out to the chat who can figure out what we're pointing at. Baja, California. Oh, is that what it is? Is it? No. Oh, you're totally right. It's totally Baja, California. So Meteor is like a really good quality downlink. I really like the quality of this. So let's see if we can get. So this is the no. Let's turn it this way. There you go. So the landmass is up top now. Pretty good detail. Can I enhance? Yes, I can. Pretty cool. I'm not sure what that's meant to imply, some kind of weathering pattern or something along those lines, clouds. But yeah, that's what you can expect. Oh, close without saving. Go ahead, get out of there. So that's one way to view the images. You can also go to Viewer. And if you point a directory at it, you can go like to your home directory up at the top. Go to Live Output. And then you can just pick whichever one you're running. So Meteor M2 is the last one we did. And you can go in here. Let's pull that guy up. He is not loading for me. Oh, wrong one. Back. Come on. And of course, it's not opening for me now. But anyway, that's where all the files are at. Doesn't like it. Okay, it has an argument. I'm covering it up, but let me see. Whoop. It's mad about something. So let me pull a video up while we're doing that, because it's pretty straightforward. It was surprisingly easy once I got it all built. Yeah. So the SatDump, I'll come back over here and answer some questions. SatDump is running on an Raspberry Pi 5, and it also runs on Windows and Mac OS for Ham Radio Tube in the chat. I saw him earlier. Yeah, so you can do this on Mac OS as well, and it just uses it as an RTL SDR. I clicked load. There's a load button next to the open. I clicked it. It didn't do anything. Thank you. Appreciate that, Jeremy. Hold on. Let me pull up my videos. Oh, what the heck? It fell off again. I did have some I had more difficulty in the technicality of getting the stream running than actually with the satellite downloads, which is crazy considering how difficult I ran through the last one we did with that old application. It is so much better now. So let me do this. This is probably going to be easier this way. So this is what it looks like when you're actually downlinking NOAA satellite. And you can see the decoding is the APT decoder is happening pretty much live. And this isn't even that strong of a signal, and we're kind of not at the highest signal strength yet for the pass. You can see on the left side with the circle, the little red dot is the satellite, and it's passing into kind of my highest area, which is that second circle, or my strongest area of the antenna. Yeah, Dr. Machine Gun, this is a fantastic, if you're interested in that, man, or if you're probably already doing it, but yeah, this SatDump is a fantastic app. Let's see. By the way, I'll take questions too. There it is. We got it. Oh, yep. Also correct. For me, Don, I turn it off because of just the heat. It's sitting outside right now, and I have a active cooling case that will adjust the fan down when it's not hot, and so I just let it turn off. And yeah, I would make sure that you have some kind of time code. If you get that off of Wi-Fi or something along those lines, that will help tremendously. You need accurate time. Otherwise, you won't be able to align with the actual schedule plan for the satellites. Yeah, so the next step is, if you want to kind of improve upon your game, you can get a oh yeah, see the lower left hand corner now, the intensity of that line is a lot stronger, and it's more focused with less staticky green balls bouncing outside of that line. That's what you're looking for. Obviously, if it was just a real straight line, that would be the best. But yeah, so a low noise amplifier on receive is a really nice thing you could add to the list here. And NOAA actually makes one. They're available on Amazon for like $45, I believe. And that would be a slick thing to add. No, so this is the SDR is, there's no noise for this. If you want to, you can go listen to this just by going outside and pointing your radio. If you got 137.9, you can pick this up yourself. But no, this is all just muted because you're just looking for the signal. As you can see on the waterfall, that's what you're looking for. If you have that, then that's the whole game. Yeah, so a low noise amplifier and a band pass. Specifically, you're looking for a very, very tight band pass for just like the 137 megahertz, around there, as high as 137.1 to 137.9 is really all you need. It's actually very very easy to get going with it. So that's the first one. So let me go ahead and get out of here, and I'll bring up a second. I believe this is the. That is also NOAA. We want to meet you. Yeah. Where is it? This is. Oh, come on. I'm going to mute that for a second. I'm going to share a YouTube video that was really quite helpful too, if you need a bit more in the weeds. But that's what it looks like when you're having a successful Meteor pass. Or we're getting to it. We're syncing up right now. You can see you start going from this large green ball to 4 balls in the lower left-hand corner. You start syncing, and then you get a Reed-Solomon connection. And you're looking for as high a signal-to-noise ratio as possible, right? And you get color coding in the left that kind of tells you if you're doing well or not. Red being bad, orange is kind of not great. In this case, we started losing it. And you can see there's not much signal there. The meteors are sometimes can be difficult. So I think that's the Meteor. Let me grab another one here. Oh, wrong one. That's from the other video we did. Okay, where's the links I need to show you guys? Well, that's definitely not it either. Where is he? This guy. So, shout out to TechMaker UK, and I'll drop a link in the video chat for everybody to check him out too. So this guy did a really good job of walking through a lot of some of the more details than I covered that you may be interested in if you're doing like manual processing of the signals, but you really don't need to. It's pretty straightforward for just live, and that way you can set it up if you've got a good enough station or a good enough antenna. You can just let this run in the background and be able to pull out these images using a Raspberry Pi, which is kind of what Raspberry Pis are designed for. So that's my recommendation. A couple of things to mention too. So Meteor is a little bit interesting in that it sometimes changes. They change the frequency of the Meteor occasionally from like 137.9 to 0.1, so it goes from primary to its backup frequency, so keep that in mind. The symbol rate now is set to 72K, so when you are setting the data type, so let's go back to the Raspberry Pi, and if we go back to recorder, and we scroll down to just under the green circle to schedule and config, if we click schedule and config, and we take it out of Engage Auto Track, we can make a change. And under the record area, the little drop down, if you type in here Meteor, you get faced with a couple of options, right? So there is an M2 LRPT, which is the data type of the picture, and then a bit rate of 72K. And I'm literally hovering over it. Let me slide over there. They're now, since it's the M2.3 and the M2.4 satellites, they are now on this -X option. So you need to match what's ever on the website. So if you select that, you're good to go. And for NOAA, again, you just click the drop down and you type in NOAA, and then you'll be given one of these options. And if you're on 137 or the VHF frequency range, you're going to make sure you want to hit APT as the option, right? So that's the data type basically of the data you're getting, that the satellite's downlinking to you. And then just hit engage again. It grays everything out. It's now showing auto track engaged yes, and that's all there is to it. At that point, you can stop the SDR if it's not currently a pass. It'll just pause there, and it'll just sit and wait because the next one is in 40 minutes, which, again, NOAA 15 is, I think, pretty much not working, not at all functioning on the VHF frequency range, so you can kind of ignore it at that point. So, yeah, let's see. Hey, Interstellar, thank you very much, Interstellar Starman. Thank you for the super chat. He says, thanks for the space lesson, Josh. Honestly, I have nothing but really nice things to say for the developers of this app because they did a fantastic job. And yeah, Jody, you nailed it. This is a much healthier app than Weather to Image ever was. Never got that one working well at all. Yeah, this is way better, way better. Speaking of that, let's go back to the website really fast so we can make sure we cover everything here for everybody watching. So on the SatDump website, which again links are in the video description, if you click on download. Stable working versions for Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and it is both Ubuntu and Raspberry Pi, so it's ARM. It'll work on ARM processors and Android. I haven't even tried the Android yet, but that's probably super cool as well. Why not? So yeah, if you do want to build this for Android, it's relatively straightforward. You will download the deb files. So you're on your Raspberry Pi, you go to the browser, search SatDump, download the DEB files, and then you will need to run a build command, which I think I've got that. Hold on, let me go back a step here. Yeah, so it's just a sudo apt install, which is this guy right there. So it's you're going to save this to wherever you want. So in my case, it was just auto saved from the browser to the home directory hrcc downloads, and it's just SatDump and then the version number, and you run a sudo for sudo superuser do, or basically admin install apt install, and then point it at the location. It'll go through and do the whole thing, and then it's literally just going to go to your other directory, and it just sits right there. That's all it is. So if you're new to Linux, this might be a really easy way to get into Linux. Use the Raspberry Pi Imager, run that from your whatever computer. Go ahead and image and create an image for whatever the latest stable beta is, or it's not stable beta, stable flash, stable image for Raspberry Pi for whichever hardware you have. And then just go ahead and load it via the website. Super, super easy. Anyway, we can go back to the web here. So shout out again to all these folks. Every one of them deserves a kudos, and go give them a shout out on wherever that looks like. A lot of them are on Twitter. That's right, they're on Twitter, not X. I don't know what that X thing's all about. There are a number of libraries as well. So I think this is something that people could actively get into if they wanted to help support, possibly in a developer space. I bet if you reached out to the lead developers, this Eng23, F4LAU, so it looks like a ham, possibly, maybe. Reach out to them and see if you can help out with it. But yeah, this is like pretty much what it is. And by the way, these are the satellites that it works with. So NOAA 15, although having problems on the VHF. My understanding, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, NOAA 18, 19, Meteor. We mentioned Meteor, the Russian satellite for weather. And yeah, man, this was a little bit easier than I thought. Walking through it was a piece of cake. I'm pretty sure SU is super user. Oh, switch SU is. Yeah, sorry. Sudo is super user do. Logging as root is also known as logging in as foolish. Yeah, that's right. I got like 30 minutes to NOAA 15. Yeah, I make no promises on NOAA 15. I don't know that we'd actually see anything on this. Could you use a hack RF? Yes. SDR Plus? I think so. But hack RF, yes, you can. Orbitron would help, particularly if you have a ASL rotor. Orbitron would help. This does have rotor support, but you might just want to stick to what you're used to if you have a rotor setup. Don is a confident man. No, not in Linux. Linux and Unix, I never really do. I never log in as root, or really ever SU either. If I always figure like if I can't do it with sudo, then I probably shouldn't be doing it, because I'm just knowledgeable enough to get around, and if I start doing major commands as root, that's likely gonna brick something. Unless I need to kill a process, that's different. Then we salt the earth. Look at that, man! 20 minutes. 20 minutes to go. We already knocked this thing out of the park. It's really that easy. I cannot understate how easy this is. So in fact, everybody that's watching right now, if you're going to, yeah, that's right, buddy. That's why I'm a manager, Jason. You nailed it. You nailed it. If you're going to be sticking around for the after chat, which I can give you a little bit of a description on what that is. The Ham Radio Crash Course after chat is a live stream after the live stream. So this is the main show. Short main show, because we pretty much wrapped it all up. It's a fantastic app. They deserve all the credit in the world. But I do an after chat with all the people on the Discord, and we take your questions live and answer any of your amateur radio questions. Although we're going to be running this in the background for sure. I'm thinking about figuring out a really good. I need a real good stable antenna, and I need to set this up so that I can I can leave this on the roof and let it do its thing and just have the Raspberry Pi just pumping in the background, getting all kinds of cool images. Now, yeah, could you use this in a disaster situation? Sure, but if there's a lot of rain and water and all that stuff and power's a problem, that might not be a priority for you. But yeah, you could. This could be something that you could do. Not to say that that's necessarily what you're going to do, but yeah. Let's see. Hey, Jason. All right. Appreciate that. Hey, right over my head. Good job. There we go. Okay. I think we got a lot of the questions, so. Yes. Yeah, Jody. Good comment. So APT is what we did for this. You can get I think no, maybe not. I'll have to think about that. But anyway, yeah, so there are higher bands or higher frequency access that you can do with NOAA as well for HRPT type, and that gives you even higher quality apps, and they look like really, really good, insanely good. But you need to be able to go up in frequency. Yeah, Dr. Machine Gun, that was what I used for the first video I did, the NOAA downlink one using the weather to image application. I used a V dipole, horizontal V dipole. Okay. I think we got... Okay, cool. I'm not rooting it. All right, cool. Well, I think that's pretty much all we need to cover, really. So this was a fantastically easy live stream again because it just works. I want you to try it though. So go into drop a comment for me if this worked for you, because I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. But it was insanely easy to get this up and running. I think the hardest part about it is just getting an antenna that works effectively. With that said, let me show you that just in case you are so inclined. 120 V dipole NOAA. So go back here. What happened? Oh, that's fine. Yeah, so that's really all you need to do to make yourself a functioning dipole, and that's it. North-south, you just align it along the poles like that. 130, you would tune it for 137 megahertz. I used very thin or very small copper. They use aluminum rods in this case, but you can use copper, the stiffer copper plumbing that's bendable, not the quarter-inch stuff, the smaller one. That's the bendable type. They actually make 3D prints that you can get, and you can just use a coax cable. So literally shield to one side, center pin to the other, and that's all there is to it. It's very, very easy. There are 3D prints. If you look up NOAA satellite on something like Printables, you should be able to find it as well. Really, really easy. And that's actually a cheaper way to get started than most things. The image quality might be lacking in comparison to some of the other stuff, but it'll still work for you. Right on. Well, we got a lot of passes coming up here in the States, so you got about an hour, guys, if you want to try it. And it'll work if you've got if you don't have like a directly 90-degree pass. You could probably still use like a vertical for VHF. That should still work to some degree. You're going to drop out, but at least it'll give you a good proof of concept to see that you have it running correctly, which, that's the biggest thing for me, is usually to make sure I have a proof of concept. But yeah, that's all there is to it. All right. Fast show. That means we can get started with the after chat and some partying a little bit early. So let's say a big thank you to the patrons. This was a patron picks episode, kind of. There's a number one vote that didn't get it, and I'm gonna fit that in probably sometime this week, or we'll make it the last month or the last week of this month, and then we'll go into the patron picks vote for the next month. But this was second place, was talking about SatDump, and the first place one, I wrote it wrong, So we'll have some fun. Let me just say we're going to dip our toes into SSTV again, and there's some fun things we can do with some applications out there that are a bit old school internet but new to SSTV, if that makes sense. So yeah, look forward to that. I'm pretty excited to be able to play around with SSTV again. So if you haven't done that in a while, get that going, because it's going to be coming at the end of this month most likely. But yeah, Patreon is where I appreciate all the support. It helps me do the things that I do. So if you are not doing anything, we're going to get started with the after chat a little early, probably around at the top of the hour. We'll get started, and yeah, that's about all there is to it. Going to say a big shout out as well to the Coffee Club, all the members of the Coffee Club. I have a new list coming to me with all the people on the Coffee Club, and you will all be on this after chat roll when I get that updated list, which will be kind of cool. So this one is like a month old, but yeah, big shout out to you guys again. Yeah, you remember what people would do with they'd have like a 386 or 486, and they'd have like those little keyboards that they'd interlace the text on top of the camera screen and all that for doing SSTV. Super, super cool. Yeah, so thank you to the Coffee Club members. Appreciate you for the support. And yeah, I think we're about done. Hey, John, if you got questions, yeah. John, they've gotten a lot better with the changes in applications and computing capability with the Raspberry Pi. Is just amazing. But yeah, if you got questions, join us in like 15 minutes. I'm going to end this live stream. There'll be a new live stream posted. And if you got questions, we will take them and answer them live. So 73, everybody. Enjoy the memes. Take it easy.